Last time every NBA team got swept. Without further ado, let's just get into this. The most recent NBA team to get swept came just a few nights ago when the Pelicans lost in 4 games against the Thunder. As a Thunder fan, I'm very happy about this from a neutral perspective. Kind of sad the Pelicans got swept. I'm cheering for them in the future, but with the Thunder's inexperience in the playoffs, most people did not see this coming. They thought it would be a competitive series, but with Zion Williamson getting injured in the play-in, that's kind of why this happened. But just the night prior, the Suns were swept by the Timberwolves. Similar to the Thunder Pelicans, this was supposed to be a competitive series because the higher seed was not familiar with the playoffs, and the Suns had a big three in KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, and for them to only get the 6th seed and for them to get swept, it's been a very disappointing season for the Suns. The last time the Lakers got swept was in last year's Western Conference Finals when they lost to the Denver Nuggets. Now, if I'm a Lakers fan, I wouldn't be too mad about this. Y'all were the 7th seed and y'all lost to the eventual NBA champions. I'd be more bad about what happened this year. There's many games where y'all should have won, but Jamal Murray is he's a different breed when it comes to the playoffs. The last time the Nets were swept was the first round of last season when they lost to the 76ers. For most of the season, they looked like title contenders, but after they blew up the KD and Kyrie duo, this team, they were pretty awful, and if they started out the year with the roster they had, they would have missed the playoffs entirely, so this sweep entirely makes sense. The last time the Nuggets were shut out was the Western Conference Semifinals in 2021 against the Phoenix Suns. This was due in large part to the fact that Jamal Murray was injured along with others, and the 2021 Suns, they made it to the finals that year, and honestly, they were on a whole nother level. The last time the Heat were shut out, and the only time the Heat have been shut out ever, was the 2021 first round against the Milwaukee Bucks. This was a year after the Bucks got upset by the Heat in the bubble in the playoffs, and a lot of people were doubting the Bucks at this time, and they wanted to get revenge on the Heat. So they were very, very motivated, and they ended up winning the finals, so it just goes to show how motivated they were. The last time the 76ers were swept was the 2020 first round against the Boston Celtics, and this goes along with our bubble theme so far. This season for the Sixers was a big step back from the previous season, and with bad contracts like Al Horford and Ben Simmons kind of regressing, and with the Celtics being really good this year, it makes sense. The last time the Blazers were shut out was the 2019 Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors. This was the year of the Dame shot in the playoffs, and I'm a lot more comfortable talking about this now since we are title contenders and the Blazers are in a very crappy situation, but also they could have easily won all 4 games, but they blew it at the very end. The last time the Pacers were shut out was the 2019 first round matchup against the Celtics. I was wrong. It was actually the 2020 first round against the Heat in the bubble, so that's on me, my bad. The last time the Raptors were swept was the 2018 conference semifinals when they were swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah, if you're watching basketball during this time, you know LeBron owned the Raptors. That's why they called it LeBronzo, and he went crazy in 2018. But it was this series that led them to trade for Kawhi Leonard, and it was this series that led them straight to the championship in 2019. And Kawhi Leonard for the Raptors, the best one-year rental in NBA history, maybe sports history. Last time the Spurs got swept was all the way back in, well, not that long ago. I don't know why I said that, but anyway, the last time the Spurs got swept was 2017 in the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors. We continue to talk about Kawhi Leonard, and if he doesn't get hurt in this series, if Zaza doesn't step on his ankle, they probably win a game or two, but him getting here completely derailed this series. The last time the Jazz were swept was the 2017 Western Conference Semifinals against, well, the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors were so dominant in 2017. I'm glad that dynasty is over. This team wasn't bad. They were led by All-Star Gordon Hayward and a young Rudy Gobert, but they were no match for the 2017 Warriors. They swept 3 teams and only lost 1 game the entire postseason. I mean, really, it's just an unfair match. Alright, I don't know how, but I completely forgot about the 2018 finals, so that's my bad. Anyway, the last time the Cavs were swept was the 2018 NBA Finals against the Warriors, and this series was set in stone before it even began. I mean, look at this graphic right here. It explains everything you need to know. This was LeBron's final series as a Cleveland Cavalier, and this series is infamous for J.R. Smith getting confused in the final seconds of Game 1, and LeBron getting heated at J.R. Smith, which caused one of the most infamous memes in NBA history. I don't know how I forgot about another team, so my bad. At least this time, it's the Pistons, so give me a little more grace. But anyway, the last time the Pistons were swept was the 2019 first round against the Milwaukee Bucks. This Pistons team was led by the duo of Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond, and when both were healthy, I didn't think they were a bad duo, but obviously, they're not going to get it done in the playoffs, especially with a pretty poor supporting cast. Last time the Hawks were swept were by, surprise, surprise, LeBron and the Cavs in the 2016 Eastern Conference Semis. There's nothing too notable to take away from the series besides the fact that the Hawks are 1 year removed from winning 60 games with the worst team ever. I take that back. They were the worst 60-win team of all time. They had a very weird roster. We will never see anything like that happen again. Last time the Grizzlies were swept was the 2016 first round against the San Antonio Spurs, a team that had 67 wins. The Spurs had 67 wins and only had the 2 seed because of the 2016 Warriors, and this Grizzlies team was pretty bad, so bad that their leading scorer for Game 4 was Lance Stevenson. 2016, Lance Stevenson, also Mike Conley was hurt, so makes more sense. The last time the Celtics were swept was the 2015 first round against, guess who? The Cleveland Cavaliers, led by LeBron, as, well, obviously they were swept 4-0. This was their second season post-KG Paul Pierce era where they traded all those guys for a ton of draft picks, and this was the year Isaiah Thomas came to Boston, and he wasn't even an all-star yet, so this team, they were good enough to make the playoffs, but they weren't good enough to make it any farther than the first round. Last time the Hornets were swept was the 2014 first round. At the time, they were known as the Bobcats, and surprise, surprise, it was into the hands of LeBron James, this time with the Miami Heat. Last time the Bucks were swept was by, again, LeBron. I don't know how much he's been on this list already, but this was when he was with the Heat, and this was the 2013 first round matchup. This was most infamous for Brandon Jennings saying they would win in 6, but they got swept, obviously. The last time the Clippers were swept was the 2012 Western Conference semifinals against the Spurs, and it would mark the end of the first season of the new Lob City era, and if you see that logo, that's going to be the new Clippers logo for the 2024-25 season. Last time the Mavericks were swept was the 2012 first round against the Thunder, and this was the year after they won the NBA Finals, and the Thunder this year also ended up making the Finals, but instead of the Mavericks winning last year, they lost. The last time the New York Knicks were swept was the 2011 first round against the Big 3 Boston Celtics, and this was Carmelo Anthony's first season as a New York Knick. We are going way back now. The last time the Magic were swept was the 2007 first round matchup against the Pistons. The Pistons at this time were at its peak. They had reached, I think it was 4 or 5 straight Eastern Conference Finals, and they won the finals in 04, made it back in 05. So the Magic, they weren't a bad team, but I mean, it's the Pistons in the mid-2000s. We'll give you a pass. Last time the Wizards got swept was the 2007 first round matchup against, guess who? LeBron James, this time in his first stint as a Cavalier. The last time the Timberwolves were swept was the 2002 first round matchup against the Dallas Mavericks, and this was a time where first round matchups only went to the best of 5, and this was also a matchup of 2 of the best power forwards of all time, and Kevin Garnett and Dirk Nowitzki. The last time the Kings got swept was the 2001 Western Conference semifinals against the Lakers with the Shaq and Kobe days, and this is the time where the Lakers three-peated, so the Kings, it's okay. We are now in our first series in the 20th century, and the team we're talking about right here is the Houston Rockets. The last time they were swept was against the Seattle Supersonics in 1996. We have to go back to 1994 when the last time the Warriors were swept by the Phoenix Suns in the first round. Our second to last team is the Chicago Bulls, and the last time they were shut out was the 1987 first round matchup against the Boston Celtics, way before, 4 years before Michael Jordan won his first ring. He had a lot of struggles with the Celtics and Larry Bird, and then eventually Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons, but then we all know the rest of the story. The last team I'm saving for last not because they got swept the last, but they are a completely different team. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder, Seattle Supersonics. If you don't want to count this, that's fine. I'm not going to count it, but in case you do count it and you're curious, the last time they got swept was the 1989 Western Conference semifinals. And if I ever said last time they got swept or last time they got shut out, my bad. If you didn't see, I made 2 videos on the last time every NFL team got shut out, so I'm a little confused. But anyway, that's about it. Bye.